Alright, so first of all, hey, I haven't uploaded a video in a while.
I'm back.
And secondly, I know that Ghost of Tsushima just came out on PC, but today we're taking a look at another Crab's Treasure, also known as Crab Souls. And yes, it is actually what you're thinking of when you hear that title. So in Crab Souls you get to play as this little crab guy named Krill, who's pretty much just enjoying a carefree life living above the ocean, until reality hits him in the face.
I'm here to inform you that you have outstanding taxes that date back and upwards of 10 tides.
Yeah, he's pretty much been living rent-free up here while the rest of the ocean has been slaving away. So anyway, this loan shark shows up and pretty much just takes Krill's shell away, and until he has the means to pay his rent, he's not getting it back. So now he has to actually go down into the ocean to find Duchess Magista, or as I like to call her, Big Crab Lady, who is the current ruler of the ocean. Now I don't know if it's very likely that parents are watching my videos, but if you are, you might be wondering whether or not this game was made for kids. Especially because of the aesthetic of the game, because it's definitely a very cute and colorful looking game, and I was honestly wondering the same thing. Until I had to defend myself against an actual vibrator.
I don't even know what this one does!
As for the gameplay, this is definitely a Souls-like game through and through. There are a lot of different bosses to fight here, and you're definitely going to be dying a handful of times to each and every one of them.
Oh crab, I'm sorry. Was I supposed to grab a ticket?
And I just had to gush about this game, man, because I've been enjoying myself so much that I even got all of the achievements within the first few days of playing. I don't know what it is with games like these, but I always really enjoy games that have this kind of cartoony aesthetic. I'm also a huge fan of a game called Ahead in Time, which you might have heard of. And ever since I finished playing that game, I have been looking for a game to scratch that itch, you know what I mean? And this game really delivered. It just really gave me that same special feeling all over again, and overall it just really reminded me of why I like video games so much in the first place. Now I will say that this game is the easiest Souls-like game I've ever played, but that's completely fine, because I don't think the intention here was to make the difficulty on par with games like Dark Souls 3 or Bloodborne. In a way, what we're looking at here pretty much feels like a parody of those games, with a lot of heart and soul poured into it, and it all just works really well. There are definitely some bosses that are harder than others though, and I definitely took a good beating a couple of times. And by the way, if you've never played a Souls-like game before in your life, I would say that this game might unironically be the best starting point for you, because it really does teach you the basic formula. Now let's talk about some other stuff. The level design. I absolutely loved going through all of these locations, and you know what, games like these really remind you of just how far good level design goes. There are tons of beautiful looking games out there with the worst level design you've ever seen, and I am once again reminded of the fact that even though a game might be gorgeous to look at, it's not gonna grab me the same way a game like this does. If it doesn't have that kind of soul, then what's the point? Even the story really managed to surprise me. From the beginning of the game, I was kind of under the impression that for the most part this journey would take place around the same areas, and I don't really know why, but I really didn't expect the game to go as hard as it did. Let me just say that you are in for a nice surprise when it comes to the storytelling, and most of all the places it takes you. And as for how many different places there are a lot more than I expected, and all of them are pretty beautiful and unique looking. I just love the way this game surprises you in more ways than one, because it's so much more than it seems. And I haven't even gotten to one of the best things about the game, the music. Okay, excuse my language, but I've been listening to it on loop for the past couple of days. I even listen to the soundtrack while taking a shit, and let me tell you, taking a shit has never been more awesome. creator of the soundtrack, which I believe is called Feasley. I hope I am pronouncing that right, by the way. Feasley, you really did a great job with the soundtrack. I've been headbanging to it ever since it got released. The team even released a video pointing out that everyone is free to use their music however they like, and I just want to say that I really respect that, because this video wouldn't be as good without using the official soundtrack. I've seen some people say that the game is too short to justify its current price tag, but I have to disagree. Even without focusing on getting everything in the game, it's still a pretty long journey, at least in my opinion. As I mentioned before, I did get all of the achievements, and I did pretty much everything there is to do in the game, and it took me around 20 hours or so to complete. So, another Crab's Treasure, or Crab Souls. Definitely worth your time, definitely worth your money. This is a game that deserves your support and a game that has something special to it.